Hey everybody, it's Greg again. It's another edition of Unbreakable podcast. It is Friday, TGIF, May the 1st, my favorite month of the year. Listen what I'm playing. Alexa, turn it up. Faith by George Michael. There are a couple reasons why I'm playing this song today to lead off the show. Number one, we gotta have faith. Not only have faith in life, don't get faith, don't give up. But as a Philadelphia sports fan, as I am, those Sixers, we have to keep the faith, which we're going to talk about in a bit. I remember when this song came out, the album flew out, the video, so great. Number one, album, song, video, the great George Michael. Underrated singer. We're going to talk about singers in a bit. And the other reason why I play this is because the jacket that George Michael wore in the video for Fame, it was this leather jacket, was just sold yesterday. And the person who bought it is a fan, was a fan of George Michael, bought it for $200,000. $200,000 for his jacket. And it's somebody from England, so it's been staying in England. The jacket was in storage all these years. It's like 1988 or something. So, $200,000. What do you think somebody would give you for this shit? Huh? I'd have to pay them to. Jesus. Yes, speaking of vocals, there's a difference between singers and vocalists. There's a site called Consequent. They did a recent ranking of the best vocalists of all time, both men and women. And this was compiled of 50 people in music, musicians, songwriters, singers, were polled, like 50 at a time. I got it. They cut it off before I did. 50 people were polled. The greatest vocalist of all time. Not just now, not just like in the 80s or the 70s or the 60s, all time. Of course, it's tough to do a list like that, because everybody has their preferences, everybody has an opinion, blah, 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 and some people like chocolate, some people like vanilla, but let's see, who was the greatest vocalist of all time? Well, I'll give you the top 5. Can you guess the top 5? There's so many great vocalists. Frank Sinatra, Elvis Presley. Yeah, and what they define as a vocalist is not only someone who has a great voice, but someone who took that voice into areas that were unexplored. Like took chances with their voice, used their voice as like an instrument, like you would use the guitar. So, top 5. Robert Plant. I think we could all agree with that. Led Zeppelin. When she's buying us there with you. Robert Plant was number 5. Number 4 on the list, Marvin Gaye. Sexual healing. Marvin Gaye. Number 3 was one who I thought could easily make number 1. Whitney Houston. Oh my God, did she have a tremendous voice? And she used it. I mean, her range was incredible. She wasn't afraid to hit those high notes, and she was just incredible. I never saw her in concert. One of my great regrets in life, but just hearing her sing live, even like the national anthem, was like awesome. So Whitney Houston, number 3. Number 2 on the list of the greatest vocalists of all time, Aretha Franklin. Aretha could belt it, as they say. She could belt it out. I mean, she could use, Aretha Franklin was power. When I think of her and hear her voice even now, she is power. I mean, she could take it to new heights. She could start at a certain key and go all the way up. Her range was incredible too. And that's the one thing about all these singers on this list. The range was just outstanding. But Aretha was number 2. The number 1 voted vocalist of all time. Okay. Freddie Mercury from Queen. Freddie Mercury. I gotta agree with it. Hey, I can't fight it. He was incredible. If you ever heard him in concert, that 20-minute Live Aid snippet, which is like they call it like the 20 greatest minutes in rock and roll history, when he and Queen just came on stage at Wembley Stadium in London, 1985, and just took over the place. Oh God, he had that crowd in the palm of his hand, but his voice was incredible. Think about all those songs that did Bohemian Rhapsody, and a lot of it was technology too, but there's no way near the technology back in the late 70s, 80s, when Queen was at its height, as we have now. So a lot of that was Freddie Mercury, his incredible range, incredible voice. So, I mean, whether you agree with him or not, he was voted the number 1 vocalist of all time. So there you go. We talk about having faith in life, having faith that you're going to get through stuff, right? When the chips are down, and maybe when life looks its darkest, you have to have faith. And it applies to I'm a Philadelphia sports fan. Hey, I'm the one, faith. After all the bad years we had, our teams, the Phillies, the losingest organization in all sports. You think about this, the Flyers haven't won a Stanley Cup since when the mid-70s. I think about that. My father died in 77. And I think, how crazy is that? The Flyers haven't won the Stanley Cup until before he died. Luckily, he saw their last, the only 2 Stanley Cup championships. But the Flyers have not won the Stanley Cup since he died. And he's been gone, it'll be close to 50 years? That's incredible. Sixers haven't won an NBA championship since 83. That's a long time too. Yeah, it's weird about the 80s. You think about they were just yesterday. I would talk about George Michael and all those great acts, and now Michael Jackson with his biopic out. Prince, the great Prince, the great Whitney Houston, Madonna, so many great artists, musical artists back from the 80s. The 80s were a long time ago. You think about all that, and the Sixers haven't won since then. And we got our Eagles. Now our Eagles have at least given us 2 Super Bowl championships within the last 9 years, which is great. But before 2017, the Eagles have been around for a long time, and they never won. They won an NFL championship in 1960 when they beat those dreaded New York Giants. But all those years, the 60s when I was growing up, the 70s, the Eagles stunk. Oh, they stunk bad. So it's nice to see our Philly teams having success. Let's start first. I got to give these Sixers credit. As much as I bash the Sixers, and I do, and I think rightfully so, you got to say, they have a lot of fight in them. They went up to Boston last night and they won. They beat the Celtics up there. And I'm sorry, they beat the Celtics here in South Philly. Blah, blah, blah. I had a senior moment then for me. Beat the Celtics here in Game 6. The series is now tied 3-3. They go up to Boston Saturday night, 7:30. They play the Celtics up there. Celtics are 7.5 point favorites. That doesn't mean anything. You know, you would think the Celtics would win when we come court Game 7. It's do or die, right? It's me. I think all the pressure is going to be on Boston. Boston has to win. They came into this series overwhelming favorites against a 6-2 team that was been up. Boston has championship aspirations. And for them to blow a 3-1 series lead to the 76ers to run them would be total embarrassment for them. But it could happen. I mean, the Sixers won Game 5 up in Boston. Actually, the Sixers have won 2 games in Boston in this series, too. So why can't they win them, right? They could. They could. They got to get off to a good start. I could see Boston, after losing 2 games in a row, coming out to a big start tonight. First quarter of Boston, if I was a betting man. But then I could see the game settling down, the Sixers catching up, and I think the Sixers are going to make it a game. You know, as long as Tyrese Maxey plays well, I think the key is, again, like we've said before, Sixers-Celtics series, who's hitting their threes and who's not. If the Celtics are on target and they're hitting their 3-point shots, they're not going to beat them because they take a lot of threes and threes beat twos, right? It's math. I suck at that. But that's the thing. You just got to hope that Boston feels the pressure, you know, that crowd's going to be with them, but they could turn against them. They could easily turn against them if the Sixers take control and get out to a lead and put the pressure on Boston. Put the pressure on them. Make them make shots. The thing of this with the Sixers, this run, Embiid's been playing incredible. And just think about a little over 2 weeks ago, he had an appendectomy. And Paul George, Edgecombe, Maxey. And the Sixers don't have much depth. But the starting lineup, Oubre, they're all playing well. And the thing about this is the Sixers are playing great defense. They have held the Celtics below 100 points 2 games in a row. Now, who does that? The Celtics are one of the highest rated offensive teams in the league. Sixers have just shut down C's. They have picked up the defense, and consequently, you can see that they're winning. So, I give the Sixers a fighter's chance tomorrow night. I really do. I think they win that game. And one series at a time, but I think they could. So let's see what happens tomorrow night, right? Flyers. Oh, we're going to have decisions tomorrow night if you're a Philadelphia sports fan. You got the Sixers playing at 7:30 up in Boston, and then you have the Flyers playing at 8 o'clock in Carolina. The game 1 of their series against the Hurricanes. Flyers, of course, won 1-6 over Pittsburgh. Interstate rivals. Beat the Penguinos, send them back, came back to the city. And why can't the Flyers beat the Hurricanes? Hurricanes are an awesome team, coached by that Rod Brindamore, who used to be a Flyer. Why can't the Flyers? You know, the Flyers are kind of playing with house money, you know? And they're young, they're tough, they're fast. And nobody expected the Flyers to get this far. I mean, some people didn't even think it would make the playoffs, let alone get through the first round and beat Pittsburgh. So they could do it. They could do it again. Get off to a good start, win a game, split down in Carolina. Of course, the last year was they took the first 2 games in Pittsburgh, and that made the series a lot easier. And as we saw, the Flyers needed all those games. The Flyers get off to a good start tomorrow night. Anything's possible. Who's going to beat this team? I have always said, no matter what the sport is, hockey, basketball, baseball, football, I always love a hot team going to the playoffs because they're hot already. You don't need to just turn the switch, the on and off switch, for the team to get hot. They're hot already. They're on a roll. So, you know what? Why not? Why not Flyers in 6? It's just like it was a Flyers in 6 against the Pens. Why not Flyers in 6 against the Hurricanes, right? I'm just saying. And then if that wasn't enough, we got the Phillies playing 4:10 tomorrow. Well, we can watch the Phillies early. Their game, hopefully, with the Fish down in Miami is over. We can nestle in and watch the Flyers and the Sixers. And boy, when the bars and the taverns and the restaurants be hopping tomorrow, you'd be competing tomorrow night. If you got 2 or 3 screens in your living room, you're lucky because you could go back and forth and watch whatever you want, right? So, Phillies are playing better since they made that manager change. And they are 3-0. You wouldn't think, just by switching up the manager, it would make a big difference. But I guess it does. I think it's the attitude, maybe the boys are stepping it up a little bit physically because they're like, hey, we better start playing that ball here or else we're the next ones are going to be gone. And you don't know what's going on behind closed doors. We don't know what really was going on between Rob Thompson, who seems like a nice guy, and these players. Maybe the players had it too easy. Maybe Rob Thompson ran the locker room like a country club. So these players were getting paid the buku bucks. They were just sort of lounging around. Maybe Don Madden has cracked the whip. Although he keeps saying he's a lot like Rob Thompson. It sounds like Rob Thompson. So far, he hasn't done anything that special that I can see. I can see the team bunting a little bit more than they have. And Mattingly did say he's getting the boys out there for more extended bunting practice, play small ball, which I think is a good thing. You can't just rely on the home run all the time. You don't hit the home run, how else are you going to generate runs? Sometimes you have to generate them in other ways. Stealing bases, getting runs, sacrifice, and things like that. So I think it's a good thing that Mattingly seems to be stressing playing small rather than just hit home every time. So speaking of which, how about that Kyle Schwarber up to 11 home runs now? He's quietly having a good season. Now, he's not hitting much, but Kyle Schwarber never hits much. Now, what did he hit last year? He hit 56 home runs. I think he hit 240 or something like that. You're not going to get a Kyle Schwarber to hit 300. Come on. His job there is to hit home runs and drive people in apartments. So it's starting to heat up. He hit a home run yesterday at both ends of the head. And that's what you want to see. Bryce Harper's still doing pretty well. You got to get these other guys going. And, Phillies are 9.5 games out, which is a lot. We were made a first. But they made up some ground, since Mattingly took over. And there's a long season with them. So all it takes is a hot 2 weeks by the Phillies and a cold 2 weeks by the Braves. And the Phillies could cut that lead in half. You get it down to 4, something that's nothing. You still have the long hot season, right? So anything can happen. Zach Wheeler is back and he's pitching tonight down in Florida against the Fish. Now, don't overlook the Fish. The Marlins have a decent young team. I don't think they're ready to contend yet, but they're playing decent ball. They just came from LA, a West Coast trip. They beat the Dodgers 2 out of 3. Now that's no chopped liver to go out there and win 2-3. So now Miami, the Phillies always have trouble with Miami down there. I don't know, maybe the Phillies lounge around the pool too much. I don't know. But they always seem to have trouble down there with the Marlins. So, but it's an odd 4-game series because they call it a bracket series, whereas the series does not end on Sunday like it usually will. It extends it to Monday. It's a 4-game one. It extends it to Monday. And then the boys come back to the next week. They play the A's. Yeah, the A's are coming back to Philly, and the Rockies. The Rockies. So, the Phillies can make some hay. You know what? Take 3 out of 4 this weekend, and I'll be happy down in Florida. Take 3 out of 4. As long as you win the series, you're in good shape. And that's what the Phillies have to do now. Start winning series so that they could pick up games on Atlanta. Now they're not playing Atlanta again until I think September. And because of the schedule, they no longer play teams in your division as much. In this instance, it's hurting the Phillies because they're not going to be able to make up ground on Atlanta by themselves. They won't be able to beat them head to head. So they're going to have to depend on not only getting hot, but other teams in the league beating Atlanta too. So we'll see. But oh my God, what a crazy Saturday night it's going to be. Yeah, you know where I'm going to be. You know where I'm going to be. So like the song goes, you got to have faith. You got to have faith that the Sixers are going to go up to Boston and pull it out. You know, the Sixers haven't beaten Boston in a playoff series since the 80s when Andrew Toney went up there, the Boston Strangler himself, and practically beat those Celtics single-handedly. Oh God. So this is history. All these times that the Celtics have kicked our ass, right? And this is our time to go up there and show them who's boss. Take that game from them, you know? Flyers go down to Carolina, keep the ball rolling, and then beat those Hurricanes. Phillies, don't let up. 1-3 in a row, keep it going. Getting 4 wins. Eagles, the draft is over. So now they have this camp for the rookies who are coming in. They're all in Philadelphia. Let's get to see what these guys look like there. These guys that they're drafting, right? There's so much going on. This is my favorite time. Not only for the weather, it's beautiful. It's supposed to be like 67 here in Pennsylvania tonight. Blue skies, it's beautiful. But the sports, if you're a sports fan, think about it. Tomorrow, Saturday, May the 2nd, the Kentucky Derby is rolling down in Churchill Downs, down in Louisville, Kentucky. And the hats will be out, all the prestige. And one thing they used to run the Kentucky Derby Saturday afternoon. Now they went until 7 o'clock at night to run the Derby. What the hell is that? But it's been party weekend. Yeah. Party week, you got your mid tulips there, you got your horses, and then your big hats. So, and then you got your golf. Now, don't forget, next weekend, the PGA Championship comes here outside of Philadelphia. So we'll be in the spotlight there, too. You know what? I'll give it. There's a lot going on. It's a great time to be alive and to be a sports fan in Philadelphia. Now, I might come back on here Monday, say, and be like, woe is me. The Sixers got trounced. The Flyers lost in Carolina, and the Phillies are back on a freaking losing streak. I might come back on Monday and be like, whoa. But who knows? That's the fun thing about sports. You just don't know, right? You just so. Everybody have a great weekend. Peace and love, and whatever you're doing this weekend, whether you're getting outside, enjoying the weather, it's springtime, it's getting nice out there. Just have a good time. And before I go, I have a friend who lives out in Iowa. Oh, at least Iowa. Her name is Laura, and she is a nice lady. And she just got her doctorate yesterday. She defended her dissertation. You know what? I do not have that all works. I'm just here. But anyway, she got her doctorate in education. She's a teacher, and she's brought children's books and everything. And I just really say, Dr. Laura, congratulations to you. And isn't that cool? Now you got a new day. Yeah, isn't that cool? Just you go like those are known. You go from like me, Mr. Greg, to Dr. Greg, all of a sudden. And what had happened with me? Anyway, what happened with me is like if I'm like one of the children's book, Dr. Seuss. Anyway, so peace and love, everybody. Now, tonight, go Phillies. First game in Florida tonight. Zach Wheeler pitching. Come on, boys. Get the weekend off to a good start. Tomorrow night, we got our Sixers, we got our Flyers, and we got our Phillies. Oh, a triple header there. And the rest of the weekend is going to be a blast. We'll see what I can say. Whatever, have fun. Peace and love. Talk to you.